Hello, and welcome back for another blueprint build today. If you're new here, welcome in. This is a series where I take a blueprint and a floor plan that I find online and I recreate it in The Sims, and I try to keep it as true to the actual blueprint as possible, which leads us into some interesting territory sometimes with things that are a little bit odd. So I found this house online and it's technically categorized as a cabin, which is a little odd because it looks a bit modern. So I guess we could just say it's a modern cabin, but I thought it was cute and somewhat interesting. It's a little bit different, has a couple of elements that are unique to it. So I thought it'd be fun to recreate it in The Sims. Okay, so the nice thing about this is that it's just a big rectangle. And the bad thing about this is that it's just a big rectangle. And if you have played Sims enough, you know what I mean by that, because proportions in this game are not the best. So I'm going to start with this and we'll see how it ends up being laid out. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can count that as the porch area over here, which is going to limit us a little bit. I can already tell, I think I'm gonna have to expand this. I've done this enough to know, I feel like I know. But maybe we could have this be like the back wall of the kitchen, and then it can be an open hallway. Maybe we could just make it 2 tiles. So let's just scoot these over 2 more tiles and then stretch that out a little. And if we go down, I think we can fit our bathroom in that space just fine. And technically we don't need multiple tiles for a washer and dryer. It'll fit in 1 tile, but maybe we can make it a little bit of a bigger laundry space, and then that leaves us with a pretty large bathroom to work with, which I think will be nice. And then we can have our closet space up against this wall like that. That makes this, I think, a little too large, but we're working with what we have to work with here. Yeah, I don't like how large the bedroom is, like, so big. And we're not gonna be able to like put much furniture in it, so it's kind of sad. Maybe I'll just go ahead and give us massive closets just to take up some more of the space in the bedroom, because to be fair, it is 2 closets. So we have 2 closets here and we'll figure that out. But honestly, I think we're pretty set with the floor plan here. Man, this looks way bigger. I may be able to make it smaller once I start working with it. I do think I can actually make it not as wide. I think that's what's throwing it off a little. Let's just like bring everything in 1 tile. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm gonna bring it in even more. I think I just made it too wide. That feels a lot better. It still looks way too long. Oh, and I almost forgot our little pantry that we have right there. Okay, I feel like we see this white siding literally everywhere whenever we do these houses, and it's just like this plain white paneling. I'm gonna pull the businesses and hobbies white paneling that we got and put that in this area, I think. And then I think I'm just gonna raise this 2 levels or so, and then we gotta like figure out what we're gonna do for this patio space right here. So we're just guesstimating right now because nothing is laid out just yet, but I think that would be good right there. And then I'm kind of thinking maybe this door could be our front door. We don't really have screened options necessarily. They could definitely do a lot better in this game with giving us screened doors and like screen windows and something to that effect. But honestly, businesses and hobbies with the windows here could work pretty well. It's just flipped. I wish it was the other way around. If I can make that upside down, that would be perfect. But we're just trying to match the best we can, right? I'm thinking we could even maybe do this and scoot this over more, because it is over off that corner a pretty good bit. We'll have to figure out like a fireplace situation. So with the current size right now, it can't technically be centered because I think I want this to be 3 tiles wide at the bottom for this fireplace, and then we would have just 1 in the center. That does look a little odd. Also haven't put a roof yet, so it looks very odd. Let's go ahead and put a roof on this because it just looks really weird right now. I think it's gonna look weird no matter what. This is just very plain. And so the fact that the house itself is so rectangular, I just don't see how we're going to get this to not look so odd. But it's definitely lower pitched. Like, I think it's technically even lower than that. I would put it like about right there. And then we get another one here. They keep it separate, which is interesting. I don't know if we're gonna be able to really imitate that so well, but maybe if I pitch it a little bit lower than that one. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, we need it to actually be higher. We need it to be pitched higher so the eaves line up. Like, maybe we do something like this and have those eaves come over so it gives the same kind of, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the way that's done, and I don't think I can emulate it very well in The Sims. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Trust me, I hate this. I think this looks awful, but I'm trying to do what's in the picture. That's the whole point of the challenge and what makes it fun. Okay, so I raised the roof up higher so we could actually fit this window from growing together, because that kind of gets the same vibe and it fits the contour of the peak up here at the top of the roof. I'm thinking what I can do to make this look a little less awkward is to put a half wall and do something like that. I think that's fine. And then I think they're gutters, but I'm just going to go ahead and probably put like a black trim for the roof up here. And I like how this kind of looks like it has wood underneath it. I know, trust me, I know that bothers me to no end, and I usually would never do something like that, but for the sake of the game, that's what we're doing. The sake of the challenge, that's what we're doing. Now, we do have 2 sets of sliding doors, but I'm thinking I could just get this one really large sliding door since it takes up the same amount of space, because no matter what other sliding doors I do, if I do 2 side by side, it's not going to fit or work correctly. I still feel like we're gonna have to adjust these proportions eventually. Okay, so for this little part for the porch, I'm going to use the Snowy Escape foundation because I feel like that's kind of the vibes. I just think it matches really well. And then you can't see it very well, but it is a wide plank. So maybe something like this works. Technically, we do still need to put a stair here, even though there's not one in the picture, but that's just because in The Sims, we can't go up 2 levels. And as you can see, there's like a stone pathway going up in the center. So I think I'm gonna put the stairs right here instead of just right in front of the door, because the idea is that we'll eventually put a pathway that goes up right here, which again, it does look awkward, but that is what they did, so that's what we're trying to do. I actually really like the Seasons ones if they didn't point right here. That's deadly. Y'all, these are allegedly the same swatch. They're both from Snowy Escape. That is a completely different color. That is a completely different color. Sims, don't gaslight me. I think I'm gonna scoot it over one right there. And then I might use these Horse Ranch lights up on here. I think that matches pretty well. It's a little tight right here, but we're doing the best we can. Ooh, this is like getting super tight. I'm gonna try to scoot this over a little bit more. There we go, that's a little bit better. We'll just leave that there. And then I think I'm just gonna use Snowy Escape for the windows over here, and we'll figure out the exact placement of those later for the bedroom space. And then I think we're gonna use this get together stone for the little chimney area. Okay, so here we can see the foundation a bit better for the other part of the house. So I'm thinking we get the same like what we used for the fireplace area. And I know it's not quite the same color, but it's pretty close. And then all we have over here is just 2 windows, square windows here. Now I always place these and then I end up moving them because I think this is probably where the bed goes. And then it looks like we just have like 1 square window here somewhere, and then like 3 in a row over here somewhere. And then we can see the other part of this front porch area. We'll go ahead and put these windows in all around. That's a vibe. I feel like that's a vibe. And we'll close it off with these columns. About the best we can do. You know what? I might change it to eco lifestyle just because at least it covers up more of the wall. Yeah, I think that gives us more of the vibes we need, even though the frame is different. And that's way better. And then maybe also we switch the door out just to go all the way to the top as well. That actually looks pretty seamless, doesn't it? Ooh. Clean lines. Yeah, I think that's way better. See what I mean? It just takes iterations. We get through it though. Okay, so now we get to the inside, and it looks like we still carry that stone into the floor. So I'm gonna bring that in right there. And then we have this same paneling up against this wall. And then I'm just going to bring this same stone into the wall right here. Now it is a vaulted ceiling, and I can get rid of the ceiling here so it gives that effect in here. I might do it for just this one. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, vaulted ceilings just don't work well in The Sims. They look a little bit funky, but for this room, I think it's fine. I think on the inside though, I'm not going to do it. Now it is pretty funny that cottage living gives us the best type of vibe for making this work in here. What if we actually deleted the wall and then put the fireplace in, because in the photo you can see like it's flush with this wall right here, which we can't do perfectly, you know. But what I could do also is potentially scale this up just a little bit to where it fills in the space more like that. Oh, it sticks out there though. This already looks weird enough. Let's just make it look weirder, shall we? What if I just added some roof pieces over it to cover it up? So we're just simply shaping. No harm, no foul, because it's a vaulted ceiling in here anyway. Doesn't look as weird from the inside. It still looks a little weird, but it could be worse. And then we have like this rug in here that definitely screams cats and dogs. Like, this is perfect for this. This needs to be sized up a good bit. Have that centered there. Then we have like a little round wooden table, and it's about that color, something like that. Has some magazines or books on it of some sort. Maybe do those. And then we have a couple of seats next to it. And I feel like the businesses and hobbies seats work pretty well for this space. Like, that looks pretty spot on. Just like the frame of the chair is scarily similar. Now for the mantle up here, we have like a couple of clutter items like a vase and such. I think the refined living room kit would work well for this. Putting these up here to let me cover all my vases here. See what I did there? That's the content you signed up for. Put those there. Maybe do like a darker color like that. I think that's fine. And then it looks like we have just like a jar, a glass. It might be a little weird, but maybe the bath salts would be funny. We get the single one. I just gotta find where that is. Or from kitchen clutter. I know it's not glass. Maybe this would be better. I could size it up. I don't know, it just doesn't look as weird. Like, we know those are bath salts, but if we put this up here on the mantle, it kind of just, it just looks like a big jar, you know? And then we can actually get a darker brown color. And it looks like a label on it, just like in the picture. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. We have all of these plants over here on this industrial looking table, which is pretty cool. I know it's not the exact same, but maybe we could just do industrial loft over here. Would it be crazy to go ahead and put this too? It's covered in plants. It's still inspired, I think, by the build, right? Like, I think that looks pretty cool. And then we just have to put a few plants on it. We could put that there. Get a little propagation station there. The one potter with the cactus is a light color. We could put the crochet cactus there as a nod to that. There we go. Just something like that. I think that fills in the space a bit more. And then the only other thing we're missing here is the wall decor piece right here, which is just like a tapestry, and then we put a door. So I think the only thing equivalent that we're going to have is a tapestry. We do have these too, which could be a nod to that if we were to put leaves. So we could do like a fun little combination if we wanted to do something like that. We could put leaves and then a tapestry in the middle. And they're like this, looks like a faded green, like soft green color, exactly like this. It's like a grayish green color. Again, it's not the exact same thing, but I do think it gets us pretty close to the vibe. So I think that is good. And then ironically enough, maybe this is the door we put going in and out of the house. And there is another one over here. And I think we're done with the front porch area. Okay, so as I suspected, these windows are nowhere near close. This is the bathroom, and we'll fix it later. But now that I see the inside photo, it looks like it's a rectangle. So let's try this from businesses and hobbies and put a few of those a little bit lower in here. I think that's more the vibe now. Mia says hi. In case you can hear her panting. We just got back from a walk. I'm trying to record, baby. Okay, so we have this light gray tone wood in here. Yeah, I think we can use that. I think that's the vibe. I don't know if it's in the bedroom or not. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I went ahead and put it there. Okay, so it needs to be 3 tiles, but I like the style of this. Like, again, this is kind of close to what we have. Is there a way to overlap this? Ooh, let's do this. Okay. We can just overlap it to make it look like one big sofa. Now, I don't think we're gonna have any end table that's going to be the same vibe as that. What's interesting is this is kind of the vibe in here too. What if I did this as like a fake armrest? Yeah, let's make this a fake armrest. I know this is getting a little bit extra, but I feel like that's kind of a neat thing I just discovered. Let's do that. I don't think we have baseboards, but I do like this better. At least with the walls. Back to our table search. We'll use this. It's very similar wood tone, and it has like a similar style to it. Now when it comes to rugs, I feel like we have a rug that has this pattern. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of, but it has similar energy to it. Oh, we do get a black and white. This one has blue in it a little bit, but at least it looks like it does. I honestly can't tell. Oh yeah, that definitely has some blue in it. What if we did the blue just to give it a little color? I get it's not this vibrant, but I don't want everything to be super neutral colored. I think it just helps fill the space in a bit more too. And then we have a console table under the windows over here too. Now this, I'm thinking Dream Home Decorator might be the best way to go. It's a little more gray tone too. It doesn't look like it's the exact same color. So maybe that is actually perfect for it right there. I really, really want to use this though. It matches. And then it looks like we have this gray color for the cabinets and the doors. Before we get to that, let's just figure out something really quick for some decor to put on this table. We have this glass jar that might have a candle in it. I can't tell. What if we combine the two and put something that has a glass vase and a candle? I think that this is pretty similar color tone, and then we can go ahead and start laying out the kitchen a little bit. So it looks like just a plain stainless steel fridge. Maybe I should just get the other one so it can match. I was worried about that. This one. Yeah, we'll do this one, that's fine. And then if I can get the same color, I do not like the gaps we get between the counter and the fridges. Look at that, like I can't fix it either way. I can't fix it, I can't do anything about that. We're gonna do this for right now until I can see what else we need. And then we have the island right here. So I am going to need to scoot that up. It is snug in the picture, so I'm just gonna say we're making it realistic and we're gonna leave it at that. I do think the Dream Home Decorator ones work best there. Oh my gosh, that looks ridiculous. I can't do that. I can't leave it like that. I get this is tight. I'm just the messenger, you know, I'm doing what's in the picture. And then we have a little indoor plant over here on this. I can't tell the color of the pot, so I'm gonna make it blue just so we can tie in more of the rug. I'll take the liberties whenever I can get them. Okay, so now with the upper cabinets, we'll go ahead and put in the matching uppers from what I can see in this photo anyway. That there, and then we'll put one of those there. And then I like to actually try and do the microwave. Okay, here we go, we're getting there. Voila. You have a microwave above the stove. Good enough. Good enough. And then let's just scale this down. Super tiny, as if it's never there. So we can do that. Of course, putting wallpaper messes everything up. And we actually get an item like this to put on the wall, so that's perfect. And it looks like we have a tea kettle on this countertop and put that there. And it's just like a grayish color. And we have two lights above the island. I don't think we're gonna find lights like this. It's always the lights above the island that we never have anything like. Something like that. I wanna like go ahead and clutter up some shelves in here. I might just do a couple of these sized up, just to make it really large shelves like this. And then kitchen clutter, let's see. Can put plenty of these containers down here. Maybe put the little scale. Maybe do one big and then like a smaller one of this, or you know, in between would be good. Everything in it is like really white colored, so that's what I'm going for with this. Can put some dishes. I feel like they need to be sized up just a little bit. Put this jar over here. Then maybe I could also use this swatch of the canister. Put this in here, have one of these dishes. There we go. That didn't take that long. The thing is, no one's even gonna see it really. So it's just kind of like, put all the effort in, but y'all see it on video. Y'all know what I did. Okay, and then we do have our sink on the island. Do the best I can here. We can't center this necessarily. Okay, so now from this angle, we can see a little bit better. We do have a dishwasher. So since we have a dishwasher, I might put the sink on this one so the dishwasher can still be more central to the kitchen. So this is kind of the same shape with the faucet at least. It's not the same type of sink, but we're doing what we can. And we can put this dishwasher in right here. Now we have bowls of food on here. What I'm thinking that we can do is just take some of the kitchen clutter kit and we could put like a jar of cookies, which is not what I was thinking, but now that I saw that, I'm like, we need to put a jar of cookies. And then maybe we could put like a small container up here too, where you can actually just see that there's food. It looks like strawberries and an orange. Let's do this. I think that's cornflakes, but it does look like dried apricots, so we're gonna pretend. So we'll have that on the counter there. So we do get a TV. Go ahead and put that on the wall there. And then we have this display that's floating. This matches pretty closely with the console over there. We could do that. I like the way that looks from Home Chef Hustle, and the lights underneath them is something I feel like you'd see under a TV console. So we have some boxes that do not slot easily down there, but we could use these, have a couple of those there. Maybe we could get like a message in a bottle to put here. We have like this one little bottle down there, and I feel like that would be the vibe. So we'll put that there. And then we can put some books, maybe do that swatch, and that kind of brings in the blue tones a little bit. And then we have like another stack over here. Let's just do this. That kind of works. And then Refined Living Room has a new bowl that would work here, sized down. So it looks like that's what we have over there. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. And then we have a ceiling fan. Let's use this one. I think this kind of matches what we see in the picture. And then all we have left are a couple of clutter items over here. So we need a stack of magazines. Put those there. Maybe do that swatch. My favorite swatch. And then it looks like we have another glass something right here. Maybe we could just put a vase over there. We don't have like a lot of translucent glass objects in The Sims. I don't want to use the same thing over and over and over again. So maybe we just do something like that. Okay, now we have the next photo, which is kind of aggravating to me because the closet space, the little pantry, has a lot better variety in that photo, but the other photo did not show the same object, so I'm just gonna leave what I have on that front. And all we really need to do, I need to put a, oh no, this is gonna break my microwave again, isn't it? Oh, it didn't. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, well, I have to put the wallpaper, though. This is gonna break it. Yeah, ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. All I see is a thing of utensils, which I'd love to use, again, the new kitchen clutter utensils, because we get some good ones for that actually look like the same type of vibe. And we can put those over there. And I don't think we're missing anything else. Now, would I put a trash can normally? Yes. Do I see a trash can? No. I don't think the thing in the bottom of that closet's a trash can, y'all. Okay, so now we have the laundry room, which is a lot bigger than what we need it to be, but that's just the way it panned out. So we can still do cabinets all the way across like this. I'm thinking we can actually leave it off the wall over here. And then I'm going to get the sleek bathroom kit shelf, and we're just gonna put it all the way across. And then these are white. And then we need our detergent from Laundry Day. And that goes right here, just like in the picture. It has a red top, so we'll do the red one. Because we can't see the other side, it could, you know, have a little something there. I wanna put the hamper. I feel like that goes with the vibes a little bit. Easy as pie. Man, now I want some pie. And would you look at that? My window placement is actually not that far off from the picture, which is kind of weird and bothering me because it's not centered. Are you kidding me? I actually need to even make it less centered. That's like how it is. Oh, that is awful. That's brutal. Brutal noodle. That's actually pretty similar vibes, I would say. The bed's not even, oh my gosh, it's not even centered in the room, y'all. It's not even centered in the room. Ooh, oh, that's more green. I thought it was blue. That one's blue. There we go. Now, I get these are supposed to be bedside tables, but I don't like how, like, narrow they are. So I almost would rather just use this and put that on either side of the bed. Ooh, we do get a solid. Nice. Okay, that worked better than I thought it would. Oh, I just thought of something, y'all. Wait. We need to go back. Y'all might have been screaming at me. I did not put a picture. Oh, I also need to put a hall light here. That looks like a hole punch of some sort. And then with like fabric around it. That's an interesting picture. Maybe I can just find something that's colorful. Oh, what if we use this? Like, I feel like that captures some of the same colors that are in the photo, especially on the right side of it. You know what? Now that I have the bed in here, what if we actually do shrink this by 2 tiles? I just think that is so much better. Easy fix. So I know we have lamps that are similar style to this. Let's just go with this. And it comes in like this blue tone. Maybe scale it up just a little. Then we can get the other magazines that I hadn't used yet, like these. Okay, and then we have our 2 closets over here. Can put a couple of uppers, and then I'm gonna grab these that we used earlier. It's more of a gray tone. I think it's similar to this, what this is supposed to be, but just gotta make the best with what you got, you know? We could do something like this, and voila, you have magnificent closets. So I see shirts and shoes. I'll put some on the ground as well. I'm gonna pretend like this is a his and hers closet or something like that. And then I'll go ahead and like put these up here as well. And we'll just change some of these, something like that. It is more like suit related though. So maybe it is better to do something like this. These are a little bit nicer clothes. No, I'm just gonna copy that same idea over here, but use the women's. It could be fun to put a shoe rack down here just to make it a little bit different. There we go. And then we do have the side view here, and you can see that there are purses, or maybe you can't, it's kind of small. You can see that there are purses in this one, so I think we made the right call on that. Now, we do get this yellow box from Dream Home Decorator that I think we could put on top. Then we could put a couple of these right there. And we do have these purses. We can just pretend like she collects these. She has a few different ones, different swatches. A little Aggie's bag, that there, scoot these over. And then maybe we could put a couple of these mysterious baskets up here. There we go. Have something like that. Maybe we could put a laundry basket in here. Not to go too far off the rails, but you can see that there are things beneath them under these shelves. So I'm just trying to fill in the space a little bit more. And we have two different things of folded clothing. Okay, so we have that one done. Okay, so I have the closets finished now. And I almost forgot to do the chair in the bedroom. So we're gonna go back and do that really quickly. Ooh, this one looks like it'll work well. I do think Dream Home Decorator is going to be the best match that we have for this style and what we're looking for. I don't love it, but it's kind of there. And there is a pocket door going to the bathroom. I'm gonna use this. I know these were pocket doors too, but we just don't have options for that. So I'm gonna save it for the bathroom to use that in. I do think these cabinets seem to be the way to go with this. So we'll put those, and then we just need to make sure that they're all white. So that's more of what we're going for. And then unfortunately for us, we don't get great options for bathroom sinks that slot into the cabinets. So this is what we're using. I'm gonna use the black ones, and that's just because we do have the black faucets and there's like black accents and such. I just think this stands out a bit more than this. And then we can get these mirrors from Spa Day for lighting. I'm thinking we can use these. I think that's about the same vibe. And then we do have like a little towel over here. I might use Spa Day for that too. If I size that down, we can pretend like that's what that's there for. And I think that works fine. And then honestly, this toilet style-wise and shape seems to be pretty spot on for the most part. This one could work too. Maybe we use this one. Let's use that one. And then we have a little trash can on the ground. I know this is a diaper trash can, but this is the vibe. Oh, that's perfect. And then we have a few elements up here. I might just put this, and it's black. Yeah, I think that's good right there. Okay, so now from this angle, it's definitely more rectangular in this photo, which I like better. Ooh, what if we instead use this one? Because it's bigger. I feel like that's fine. It's a little bit different in style, but it's not that different. I think Spa Day is gonna be the way to go with the tile. It's not at all the same thing, but we're not going to be able to match. But at least this one is the same type of tile shape, like it's big rectangular tiles. And then we can use the new shower. That actually matches so well. The new shower from Sleep Bathroom goes in here perfectly. Same vibe, everything. Can have a couple of those. Did this on the stream the other night, but what if we pretend like this is a door and it's open? Can use that as our handle. And there we go. We can just pretend like it's a door and this is all still functional. So kind of fun to do that a little bit. And then I can't tell the flooring at all for the shower, so I'm just gonna use the same thing in here just so it matches. And we do have a towel rack over here as well. That could have been an easy thing to overlook. And we'll use this one. Can the door technically shut there? No, but it can't open and shut anyways because it's not a door, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we're going to head back outside. There's a fence all around. I feel like this is just like a guest house behind a real house based on the photos, or that's the concept for it. And then I'll just leave this open for the entryway, so we don't have a matching gate, unfortunately, for this one. I don't feel like trying to find one that matches. And we have this stone pathway that takes us up to the front here. Maybe do something like this. And then we have a couple of chairs up here for outdoor furniture. They're like this gray color. And then there is a table, and I might just put this because it matches. We can put a little book on it. Maybe we're out here reading or something. And then we do have a little bit of a border for landscaping, so we can outline something to put here. It's a little tight, but it can work. And then same thing over here. A lot of greenery. I see white flowers, and it's like a little bit of purple. So I'm just going to let that inspire what I put in here for the landscaping. Like these could work really well as underlying, and then we layer. Like I feel like the thistle could work, and we also do have a purpley color of the thistle too. We have this purple bush, maybe use that a little bit. And then we can interlay some thistle. Not sure if I want to use the white one just yet. Then we can just like put some greenery with some of these bushes mixed in. Maybe size that one down. And then we can have the white thistle on the edge right here. Something like that. Put a couple of those there. Can put some greenery like this. A little overgrown look to it. We don't really have a lot of flowers, so I don't think that's the way to go. And I think this will help kind of make it look a little more overgrown and fill in the space some. I'm gonna use a couple of these. There we go. I think that looks great. And then one thing that we can do is just grab some of these bushes with the white flowers on them, just to make it look fuller. Then as you can see in this picture, there is a slide, like a swing set over here. So let's just grab a swing set to put in this area. I think that's cute. And as you can see in this picture too, there are bushes all along the fence line. So I gotta like try to fill this in a little bit. And as you can see in this one, there are red trees all along the back, so I'm gonna incorporate some of those as well, I think. And put this in the corner, maybe size a few of these down and just stick them along the fence line here and there, just in the back. Maybe in the front, I can put this tree here. And then I'm going to frame some of these corners with these big fern plants, just because we have big bushes all around in the corners and such, so I think it just makes sense to try and take up the space a little bit with this. And then I grabbed these two just to like put a little pop of something, because it does look purpley, some of the trees and such too. So I'm just gonna put this sparingly around the lot. This is the fun part. Okay, put some of these here. The idea with this is you want a good mix of them everywhere around the lot in different sizes. So even though it might not make sense to size something up quite so large, it'll work. It'll work. You just got to trust the process. Just trust the process. And then these are great to fill in a fence line pretty easily. So maybe those grow over on that side of the house a good bit, and maybe we can connect these plants by putting these along the fence line here. It's like a good connective tissue. So you don't want like heavy bushes everywhere, you know? And then I just like using this to fill in a little bit more with some greenery, just in some random spots around the lot, just like so. I like the idea that that's like growing through the fence. Maybe it's a little unruly. Maybe put a little ivy over here growing out. And then this helps fill in spaces underneath that need a little bit more love. See underneath this shrub right here? It's just kind of open. This helps fill that in a little bit. You don't want to overuse it necessarily, but it just helps to fill in where some kind of noticeable gaps are. Slide it up under here. It's just like some extra fluff, you know, get some floof. And then I don't like how this abruptly stops, so I might go ahead and put a couple more plants over here, and I can just have this be right up here at the entrance. And just like that, we're finished, y'all. We did it. So this is the build in all its glory. You can see how I filled in some of the plants over here a little bit. I think it's a vibe. Like, to have this many plants around your house like this would be kind of cool. So as we come in, we have our little screened in porch, fake screened in porch right here with the kind of fake vaulted ceiling. I think we did a really good job matching the things in this house. And then this is our living space, pretty nice. And then we have our little fake laundry room, and then our bedroom, very empty and spacious, which is unfortunate. And then our closets over here. Our closets have more than our bedroom in it, pretty much. And then we have our bathroom right here. So very nice, simple build for the most part. All there's left to do is terrain paint. Okay, got the terrain paint done, and I'm ready to upload this to the gallery. I almost forgot about the roof, y'all. Like, it's blue. I don't think that's gonna work. We can't do that. I feel like style-wise, these shingles work better. It's just we're not gonna get the right color. This is about as close as we're gonna get, I think. So I'm gonna use this. So that's what we're gonna use. So I'm uploading this to the gallery as Modern Cottage. And despite it being a blueprint build, we managed to squeeze 37 packs in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like these videos. I've heard some positive feedback already from a few folks, but I'll do these more often if I get the response for it. And if you all find a floor plan online that you'd like to see me do, link that down below in the comments. And lastly, if you would just like to support me as a content creator, I would greatly appreciate it. And you can become a Soul supporter. You can find the link in the description box below, or you can just click join under this video. You get a few extra perks and you get to help me out, which I really appreciate. And if you missed my last blueprint build, I'll link that over here for you to check out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. What do y'all think about this one? It has its weird quirks to it, but I think it's an interesting house.